Namaskaram. I'm Aparna Satishan and I welcome you all to another episode of Nirvikalpa Talks. We are honored to have with us today a renowned Kuchipudi dancer, guru, and a recognized artist of the Ministry of Culture, India, an acclaimed artist both nationally and internationally. It is none other than Guru Srimati Vyjayanthi Kashi. She is the founder of Shambhavi School of Dance and has received several awards, including the Presidential Award from Kendra Sangeeta Nataka Academy, Karnataka State Rajyothsav Award, Nritya Choodamani from Sree Krishna Gana Sabha, Chennai, Karnataka State Sangeet Nataka Academy, and many more. It is my honor to welcome Guru Srimati Vyjayanthi Kashi to Nirvikalpa Talks to share her experience, her journey as an artist, as a guru, and as a person. Namaskaram. Thank you so much, Akka, for your time to spend with us to talk about your dance career and more about your dance journey. So we can start with can you share about your journey itself in dance, because you have also learned Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi. So what inspired you to take on the career in Kuchipudi?
That my name, the very name that I got, is because my father, J.M. Vishwanath, he was a great fan of Vyjayanthi Mala Bali. And his dream and my mother's dream was to have a daughter, name her after that great actress and danseuse, Vyjayanthi Mala Bali, who's really, is an inspirer and a person who many dancers can be inspired in their life journey, dance journey. And I was too small to understand all this. So this was, in fact, I was born because of that. And I owe my life in one way, dancing career, directly to Vyjayanthi Mala Bali. And that's how, and then, way back then, it was only Bharatanatyam everywhere. Especially, I would talk of Karnataka, Kuchipudi was, not known. And I'm sure that even in different parts of India, Kuchipudi was not, or Odissi or Kathak, was not as known. So the only thing that we knew was Bharatanatyam those days. And my father and my mother said that we want to have a daughter, name her Vyjayanthi and make her a dancer. So in my grandfather's theatre company, which was very well known then, the Gubbi Theatre Company, and my grandfather himself, who was a great theatre personality, had a choreographer in his theatre company. Then it was compulsory that every actress knew dance and music. So my first guru, Raman, who's from Tumkur, basically a Keralite, he had settled in Karnataka and he was working as a choreographer in my grandfather's theatre company. So my mother approached him, will you teach my daughter? And of course, those days there were very few people who learned dance. So many gurus went to their Shishya's house. Not like now that we have schools where many dancers go. I was fortunate that almost in Kuchipudi or Bharatanatyam, I had the fortune of learning under gurus who stayed with me. And I went and stayed with them. I never went to a classroom. So I don't know how it is to learn in a classroom except for workshops. I had the fortune of learning them. So for about very young, I started. My guru, I don't remember, but Ramana used to always tell me that when he would come to take classes, it's too tiny. And he was a very strict master. He insisted on perfection. And I was too young to understand perfection. And, holding your arms like this or sitting in a ramandi was a terror for me. And the minute I saw him, I would run away. I would yell at him and run away. I was too young. But see, my guru probably knew that somewhere that this girl can bloom in dance. She has the capability or some scar. And in spite of me being so naughty, running away and yelling at him, go away, That's what he told me. I don't remember I did this. But I remember one thing, that sometimes I would jump up, in my classroom, where he would sit opposite that. There was a tree in the next compound. I would go and sit on the mango tree and wait, because he used to wait, doze away, run away saying, "Oh, Vaiju hasn't come. I waited half an hour." Go across the compound, climb on the mango tree and wait. Is he waiting for me still? Probably he tolerated all this because I was too young and there were very few learners. And also he knew maybe that, I was a student who would take dance seriously. Unfortunately, it was a very, I learned for about maybe 10 years, 6 to 13. And I discontinued because, let me tell you, this has an interesting thing. I went and saw a Kuchipudi performance. And I went and told him, that was so good, I want to learn that item. He got very upset because I saw another style of dance. I didn't even know it's Kuchipudi then. I said, I saw something, and she did Rajati Raja Veera Pratap Sree Krishna Gana Sabha. And she did Manduka Shabdam. She was jumping like this, and she held her hair, and she was doing all this. I just knew that much. And he knew what item it was, because it was then Usha Datta. He was really upset. And he never came back for 10 years. My parents insisted that please come back. And I was waiting. I didn't want him because he was so strict. See, there's a saying that when your teacher scolds you or corrects you, anybody who corrects you with a good intention, you realize the value of that correction only after 20 years.
True.
Or 15 years. It takes 15 years to understand why that person scolded you. And it was true that I realized after 15 years why he left me when I was a teacher. So when he didn't come for a long time, initially I was happy, but there was so much discipline, and without my knowledge, a fondness for the movement, moving my body, expressing something using my body, that I wanted to do something with the arts. I got into theater. And like this, I was doing something with arts. And then one of my father's friends told my father that, see, there is a guru coming from Ahmedabad. He's a very well-known guru. And he teaches Kuchipudi, especially an item where one can draw beautiful images with the footwork. Well, this was fascinating for me. I always wanted to be different and break the, because then, as I told you, it was only Bharatnatyam. And for all these 13 years that I spent with him, I'd learned only one margam. Alaripu, Shabdham, Jatiswara, Varnam, Kalyani Varnam, I still remember, and Sarasi Jakshulu Varnam, Swarajat, Shabdam, and Kalyani Jatiswara, and one Devarnama, Krishnani Beganabaro, and Tilan, the usual repertoire of Bharatanatyam. And one item he had taught me, Shringara Lahari. That was the only item where it was, I wanted that speed. Otherwise, I was feeling the same thing, Alaripu, boring. It was too boring for me. And practicing, why I'm telling you this is 13 years, one markup. But we got bored then. But today, even today, my lines in dance, my Angashuddha, my Angika Abhinaya, the credits goes to K.V. Ramana, and hats off to him for taking so much time, love, patience, that he corrected me. He used to always, after 20 years he came. When when my father passed away, I did a festival in my father's name where I invited Vyjayanthi Bali because she was responsible for this. I wrote to her and she came and inaugurated the festival. And I honored my guru, Ramanna, because probably he came because my father was so passionate and he had a good relation with Ramanna. And he also realized that I had made name in Kuchipudi, and probably he thought at least she's continuing dance, forgave me. He came and blessed me. Whatever corrections that he did, even today, all my clarity in my Ambashuddha, I owe to him. Probably I didn't concentrate on Abhinaya, or he didn't teach me much Abhinaya because of my age. He only taught me that Devarnama, as I said. So Abhinaya also, then, as I said, they said that when a child teach the items according to the maturity of the child. So Abhinaya, I owe my credits to my Kuchipudi gurus and my life's experience. So this was the introduction of Kuchipudi because of C.R. Acharya coming here to Bangalore to do a workshop. And I say that, to learn under such great gurus from different places, he came and stayed with me, in fact. This is all destiny. I'm a traditional person. I would say, of course, I took efforts to continue, but even for that, you need destiny. That's how my journey in Kuchipudi began.
That's such a beautiful story, a lot to learn for the upcoming young artist that is coming, because something that I feel like is fading away is this Guru Shishya Parampara, that olden, the traditional way of learning the art form or anything, learning anything at that age was like totally different from what we are seeing these days. One thing I noticed that you were saying 13 years it took for you to learn one margam, where nowadays like kids get bored even with like one item if they're doing like two stages, this is like old dance, we need something new, right? What are your thoughts about that changing aspect?
See, what I learned for a longer time and I practiced when the Kuchipudi gurus, they would come or I would go, it was a very short-lived one. I think when anything is short-lived, be it learning, be it practicing, you forget it as easily. And you see, then we never had tape recorders also. We never had mobiles to record. Like many of them today, especially abroad that I know that I've done workshops, can we record this class? There's something called muscle memory, brain memory, heart memory, emotional memory. I think when all of them is involved, what you learn can be your lifelong thing. See, I would just quote one example. What you do in your childhood with innocence, with love for your guru, with passion. I didn't like dance, but I liked him. I recognized that he liked me and he was teaching me with sincerity, even way back then. But what my age could not take, it's not me who could, my age could not take, was that kind of rigorous training. He was a tough master. And his intention, see, though way back then, many people did not come to learn. So the gurus, whoever they felt that, one is probably they could see that, this girl has the talent, this girl will continue. And like, our Shastras tell us, I won't say I'm very beautiful, but he saw that I have a structure for dance and I have that willpower. And I come from an artistic family. I have a supportive family. So he wanted to give the best because not only for his name, because, as I said, there were many few learners then, and they wanted people that, oh, when you see a good performer, you want to dance. You want your children to dance. Viewers, I'm saying audience. When the audience see good dancers, oh, this has happened with Yamini Krishnamurti. Many people, Radha Raja Reddy's daughter is Yamini. was fascinated by her. Rama Vaidyanathan also saw Yamini, and her parents wanted her to learn. So when you see a good performer in the audience who have kids, say, hey, this dance is good. Let me send my daughter or my son. So this was probably why they insisted on perfection, and all the dancers of that generation practiced one margam, and in every program repeated those items. But now, including my own students, they say, ma'am, we did it in the last program. Can we do something new? And they forget as easily. They forget the choreography. And you see, because every time they want something new, they forget the old and they forget this. So I think, yes, uh, maybe your brains get sharper to learn things quickly, but they also forget things quickly. This is even in my own experience. What I learned before remains a part of my life's journey. But what I choreograph, and if I don't perform it often, I forget it too. And these girls, they go up the YouTube and say, ma'am, in this program, they put up the video, let me see the choreography, and they remember it. They watch the videos and remember it. But I don't know how well the body remembers it. I would still prefer, yes, children are very fast now. What I learned in 13 years, I'm sure a smart child can learn in 3 years. But how long she's going to remember it, I truly don't.
Mm-hmm. True. And also coming back to what you were mentioning about at that age when you started your journey in dance, Bharatanatyam was more popular compared to like other art forms like Kuchipudi and Odissi and all. How it has transitioned to now in this time, I still feel like Bharatanatyam, of course, is like more prominent, especially when within India or even when you go outside, it's more common. But I personally feel like that kind of an exposure is not there for some of the art forms like Kuchipudi, Odissi. I'm not sure. That's just my perspective. I just wanted to hear from you. What are your thoughts? How it has changed, or if there are still any challenges that you are facing in the field of Kuchipudi?
You rightly said it. See, visionaries are very important in dance. And if you see the generation of course, Rukmini Devi Arundel, I would say every style has to thank her because she laid the foundation. She had, just imagine, she was offered to be the president and she didn't because she wanted to make Kalakshetra the organization. It was just not making Kalakshetra. It was also setting people who will continue to teach and perform. So a first set of students whom she said, like Dhananjayans, like Krishnaveni Akka, like Janardhanan, so many. See, she simultaneously set few gurus who could perform, who could travel. That's how. And of course, you should thank the four brothers, Vadivelu, Krishna, Sadashivam, and all these people. And the kind of friends and associates she had, the scholars, the musicians, the Kathakali artists. In fact, her dream was to have under Kalakshetra all forms of dance. And she had invited Kuchipudi gurus also. This is what my gurus told me. So that vision she carried on. And the same way, probably, Kiru Baba, there's no guru who's not been inspired by Kalakshetra, the format they did. So, Kelu Charan Mahapatra, even Venkati Chinnasat, he was so inspired by the foundation and the Bharatanatyam dancers that they all observed, always a seeker is looking, observing what's happening in the world. How are they doing it? And there's nothing wrong in following the footsteps of great visionaries. So, the practice, the consistency, that's what Vempati did to do and became so. So he did not have courses like Kalakshetra had, but he used to have classes every day. And it was very rigorous for hours together. Kelu Baba, for example, Odissi. So all these people, did their best. But Kalakshetra was an institution. It was supported by the government. Kuchipudi, the gurus didn't have that facility. It's a small village. And they taught in small, even when I learned, it was probably a 10 by 10 feet hall where I learned Kuchipudi. What is the facility that, as I said, your friends matter, your supporters matter, your background matters. What is the kind of support that Rukmini Devi and they got? None of the gurus got. Even Kelu Baba in Odissi, it was on small places. But because of their continuous passion and they are insisting on quality, that the forms got famous. Sadly, most of the gurus in Kuchipudi, though they were scholars, they were also agriculturalists and they were most orthodox Brahmins. They never traveled out. Like my guru, just 1 week he would get so restless because you see, for them, they're very fond of their home. Even when I travel, I understood this when I was traveling. I used to think, what is the best facilities? And Bangalore is so glamorous. You see so many programs. When you go back to this village, there's hardly lights also. Why do these people run away so soon? But you're connected with your space. You're connected with the earth. I think so. That's where they grew. That's where their breath, their dance. That's where, even if it was a small thing, they thought with that freedom. Right? So, other forms, because the gurus, especially Kuchipudi, see, Kelu Baba went to Bombay, he taught different places, he did workshops in different places, but he was a one man. Bharatanatyam, she had already created so many students. Kuchipudi, many of the gurus in Kuchipudi village never traveled. And to reach Kuchipudi itself then, it was a task. When I went, my God, we didn't have flights. We had to travel in third class, second class, terrible trains. Sorry, I have to say this, everything was sticky. And if I came from a place like Bangalore, well brought up, the very fact of traveling so far, and I had to stay in a small hall, sleep on a, what would you call that? We used to call it made out of cane, chadar, no bed, one bucket. It was, and I was married already. So reaching that place, learning was not as easy. And as I told you, gurus of then believed in slow way of teaching. They would not teach, okay, I'll teach you an item. Like you all, I don't know, it's the mindset that, oh, we are away from India. So when the guru's there, let us take an item. If you're serious, you will practice. In 2 days, you learn an item abroad, right? In 3 hours. But how well will you remember it? How well will you perform it? I think even after learning that way, one has to practice for 1 year and be with that item. True. Right? Now, maybe you're mature. You will delve in, you will read it. You have exposure to videos on YouTube, CDs. So probably you'll say you learn a padam. You'll search on, give a search. How many people have done that padam? You go through it. Many dancers today have improved by that. But this can happen only when you have a strong foundation. True. Otherwise, I don't think this is possible. So the Kuchipudi gurus never came out. And with changing times, Vempati followed the system of Kalakshetra. In fact, he went to every Telugu house and he said, "You're Telugu people, you must come and learn Kuchipudi." So they had learned Bharatanatyam. They had already a strong foundation. And, they came to Kuchipudi, like all the film actresses, it may be Vyjayanthi Mala, it may be Yamini Krishnamurthy, they've all done Bharatanatyam and gone to Kuchipudi. So I think except Shobha Naidu, many of them had learned Bharatanatyam and they had that foundation. And of course, Repetition Satyam again was a tough master. See, my guru Vedantam Prahlada Sharma or C.R. Acharya was he was quite aged when I met him. And When he was in Ahmedabad, Darpana, there was a restriction. Those days, even the students were quite possessive. Like Mrinalini had her own institution, Vikram Sarabhai Institute, where she put her condition that you must only teach Mallika Sarabhai, or very few over there. And that was the condition when she took him as a job. I won't say that's wrong. For those days, it's, see, even Shanta, who was one of the great exponents of Mohiniyattam and I think Bharatnatyam, that I'm not sure, but Mohiniyattam, yes. She, when Vempatichinna Satyam was looking for a place to run classes, he didn't have a place of his own. So she was well-to-do then. She said, she offered him her place in Chennai, but she said, on the condition that you teach me alone. But he didn't do that. He said, even if I don't have a place, I'll wait for it. But I want to spread my art. But for C.R. Acharyalu, it took many years because you see, with the changing times, it was a time when kings were there. Devadasis were very popular in the temples, Rajanartakis, Devadasis. But at a time when it was banned, there was no dance. Then it got reconstructed. Then the Sangeet Natak Academy. Then it got recognized as classical art forms. Then people had to, reconstruct everything. It was a long journey, and Bharatanatyam did it very easily because they had supporters. But Kuchipudi didn't happen. And it was in the village. And, education also matters. The education that you get in villages, they didn't know English. There was no exposure. So, and it was limited to village. They were traveling from village to village. Later it became cities. Later it became countries. So in this process, I think because there was no qualified teachers to spread Kuchipudi, and gurus never came out, and it was difficult to reach Kuchipudi. Kuchipudi never got as far. This is what I understand. It was my journey as well. See, C.R. Acharyalu came for a short time. He came for this workshop. And when he saw, as I said, my guru had set in me that discipline of a dancer. And I was an actress already. Kuchipudi needed both. So my guru, I didn't learn basics with C.R. Acharyalu. I went straight into items like in Kerala. You learn one form, and you know that well, coming from Kerala. If you know one form well, to learn another form is not difficult. But it's not difficult to learn the item. It's difficult to get the style. And to get that style and to do justice to that, it takes years of practice again. So then, because there were not many Kuchipudi dancers. I was so thrilled. My guru took 13 years to teach me, and so 6 or 8 items, and here I'm already learning an item. I was thrilled with that. And already I was thrilled because there were hardly any Kuchipudi dancers. Oh, I'm doing something different. And I was thrilled that I was drawing peacock and lotus and many things with my feet. So that fascinated me. And also because Guru Ramana never came back. This I would call destiny. And C.R. Acharyalu, he came, stayed with me, and few trips he said, you should do the Arangetram. I still didn't know the basics, and I was doing an Arangetram. And he came for some time, and because of his own personal problems, he stopped. So then I had to search for another guru. See, like you do so many workshops. Does it mean that whom you did a workshop is your guru? I don't think so. The guru is one whom you spend your life for at least 15 years. It's not necessary that every day you live with her, but you follow her philosophy. You're inspired by her. You learn from her lifestyle. You learn from her dance. You learn from everything of her. The way I teach half of it is the way my guru taught me. My guru was so strict, and people find me very strict today, in spite of me reducing it to 30%. Because I see change. I'm flexible in my mind to move with times. But still, I don't compromise. So I think when we learn short time, it's not Guru Shishya Parampara, I would never call it. But whoever you've spent most of your time, who's inspired you, is your Guru. And this is how I've mixed two things about Guru Shishya Parampara, plus how Kuchipudi did not become as popular. And today also, see, today we have lost, during the COVID, we've lost many gurus. And even before that, still the problem exists that they don't travel very often. We have lost most of the gurus. The third generation of gurus are there. And I was fortunate that I met most of those great gurus. And like next, when I learned it was Vedanta Prahlada Sharma, he also stopped coming because he had his personal problem issues. So next guru came, I learned from Korada Narasimha Rao. He was the one who consistently came because he was not orthodox. And he had worked with Indrani Rahman. He had worked with Yamini. He was exposed. He was a performer by himself. And majorly, he had done his MA way back then. And he was not a Brahmin. He never believed in that. He believed that art itself is a religion. So even today, I find this problem that today the problem is around the world, Kuchipudi is not as famous as, according to me, as Odissi or as Kathak. Because, see, I myself organized a workshop here of Odissi. Though there are differences between Kedu Baba, Debaprasad Ji, or Pankaj Charan Das, the three trinities of Odissi, when it comes to learning, they don't find a difference. They see Odissi in the top. They say, we as Odissi dancers from Orissa must spread Odissi. But that spirit, probably, according to me, this is my personal opinion, I didn't see in Kuchipudi. Even today, if I do a workshop in Kuchipudi, the teachers won't like, oh, that is old style. Or she's not Vempati's student. Or this thing comes up. So when I think in arts, unity is very important. And unfortunately, there was no Kalakshetra, like a foundation like that for Kuchipudi. In Odissi, you have the research center. The government took great pains to support. See, the government is a very important part. Andhra, because now they have Siddhendra Kalakshetra or they have the Telugu University. But then, have they created that kind of performers? I have my own. I don't know. See, the institution must create people. It must become a branding. Like Kalakshetra students, around the globe, if they travel, they are known. Right? With Kuchipudi, see now, I did so much. But for probably a Kuchipudi person who belongs to Kuchipudi, they think I'm an outsider. What do I know? A Telugu person may also think that she's not from Andhra. How will she know about Kuchipudi? Unless and they don't even go to see others' work. Now they see because it's on the YouTube. The first thing the gurus itself will say, oh, how come you're learning from her? I did a online course. During COVID, we started a course called Mooladhyayana, Bhavadhyayana, and Rasadhyayana for Kuchipudi. And I had invited traditional gurus as part of it along with me. But in the class, some gurus, they said, if you want to learn, come from me and learn. So, such things, what happens? There should be this unity. Kuchipudi people, I feel, because they say they accept everybody. But how well do they accept an outsider? How well they would? There are many reasons why Kuchipudi is not famous today. Acceptance. And see, today, Vaibhavarekar or Rama Vaidhyanath, to do in music academy took them so many years. They are accepted. But in Kuchipudi, we do dance. But how well is it accepted? Like, Andhra has Ugadi Puraskar. How many people have they called outsiders? But Karnataka, they accept people from outside. So the government also matters. The gurus matter. See, if the government is strong, they will start a foundation like Kalakshetra, where they have produced, they're strict enough to produce great performers. And these performers are the ones. See, it's a performing art. Only when you see good performers, how does a guru become famous? By producing good students. When you see good students, you inspire your audience, parents to make your children better. Awareness of the form. How many books are there in English about Kuchipudi? About Kuchipudi, when I wanted books, I didn't get. There were hardly any books in Kuchipudi, so all in Telugu, and I didn't know them. So there are many, traveling was a restriction. So many things that has gone in that has not made Kuchipudi as popular as the art form really deserves. It's a beautiful art form. It has everything. And it's, the theatrical element. See, today Bharatanatyam dancers are taking so much of themes. When there was a margam, because it's a solo form, Bharatanatyam had margams. Now you see many dancers doing themes, which is a part of Kuchipudi, right? And we are doing solo items. A Natya form has become a solo form, and a solo form is becoming a Natya. But one must remember it is Natya that creates rasa. It's sad. Even today it exists. Many people who come to learn from me, they don't even know about Kuchipudi. They say, will you teach my daughter Bharatanatyam? I have to explain to them. They don't know what is the difference. And that word has itself become so popular because regularly in papers they see Bharatanatyam program, that. On the TV they see many. See, for example, on Doordharshan, how many Kuchipudi dances? And though it's in the odd time, still, how many Kuchipudi CDs will you get? So there are many reasons, and it's very sad. It's very sad.
You wonderfully explained that bonding that a student or a shishya needs to have with the guru. I'm sure all the aspiring young dancers who are watching this, that's a wonderful message that it is very important to have that bonding with the guru. At the same time, when you told all these challenges that at that time, right, when Bharatanatyam was this popular, when you decided that, okay, I will take Kuchipudi as my career, what was the main challenges that you as an artist faced and how you were able to overcome? And you're still in this field for these many years. So I would like to hear more about that.
See, many a times I think, truly, probably if I had continued Bharatanatyam, I would have reached much more popularity than I did in Kuchipudi. Because, as I said, acceptance. See, the first thing I learned from traditional gurus. In Bangalore then, it was Vempati style, which is not as, it is, which Vempati Garu changed and brought in a lot of sophistication, fineness to the art form. Whereas when I learned, it was little crude. And it was, male gurus who were teaching. So then, way back then, because even I didn't have that exposure, I feel then my body was so followed the manly way of instruction and concentrated more on rusticness. That was what Kuchipudi was. It took me many years to correct my own self. By, when most of the gurus never came, I had to see and work on myself. And thanks to the video, I used the video to correct. So when we could record, I would see, that time it was that VHS video or something very good. Think, why am I dancing like this? For them, most of my gurus were men. So for them, it was very good. Oh, she's so strong and she's. That was one challenge. That old style and that sophistication style of empathy. And then, way back in those days, very few dancers who were in Bangalore Kuchipudi were Vempati Garus. So the first challenge was when I did the true original stuff. People never knew it was Kuchipudi, and they made, what is this girl doing? So different. She's not doing Kuchipudi, she's mixing the stuff. And me, I was lonely here. My gurus were not with me to support me. And I was young. Even if I explained them, people thought I was saying something different. So that is thanks to that I took it positively. I said, what is this? Let me go travel whole Andhra and see what is Kuchipudi. Because in Kerala, I had seen another kind of Kuchipudi. Okay, the very makeup, the very, it was very different. In Calcutta, it was very different. In Delhi, it was different. So this made me curious, and I traveled to every nook and corner of Andhra and realized what Kuchipudi was. It was different there also. It was because, you know, in Natya, you're branded for a role. If you're good looking, if you do a female role. Otherwise, if you're hefty and you do a Rakshasa, you do Danish roles. So when you learn from such a guru, it's a different way. And you don't know, initially you're Xeroxing your gurus, all of us. We Xerox them because we love them so much. It needs maturity to see what suits you. Vempati, reversed this. He did Kuchipudi for a female body. He taught them for a female body. And he taught only solos. Later, he did dance drama. From Yakshagana to dance drama also, it's different. So all this took me a lot of time. And I was, as I told you, my gurus never stayed with me continuous time. Like, in Bharatanatyam, every week I had. Here I was married. I started my Kuchipudi only after marriage. I was working in a band. But that again made me say, no, dancers spend so much time. Let me give quality time. So sometimes, like a mad woman, I used to practice at 10 after band, after all my housework. And to practice at 10, Vyjayanthi Bali was my inspiration because my gurus told me that she was a busy actress then. She was a top actress. But her mother and they insisted that she practices Bharatanatyam. And my, my guru, one of my gurus, he was singing for her. His name is let me get his name. He would sing for her. He used to tell me that after her shooting, she would come 9. After that, all the musicians would be there. Practice for the musicians, singer, mridangist, and the Natwanga, guru. She would come, have a hot water bath, rose water sprinkled around the hall, dancing hall. All would have good fresh milk, and the practice would go on late night. Next day, she would go for shoot. Means this was what practice was. This had my guru had told me, and I used to think this is my only time, morning to evening, go to bank, come teach, cook. My time to practice was only then. So, certain incidents, what we hear, if we remember it and practice it and inspires us, it can make a difference. So my practice was only after 10, and that was quality time, nobody to disturb me. So it took me a lot of working in a bank, once in a way travel to Andhra, when my gurus come take leave, people not accepting me. And my God, the worst part was musicians. I didn't have anybody to sing because most of them were singing for Bharatanatyam. And, though it is Carnatic music, the rendering of songs for Kuchipudi is very different. You need to have even bhava for that. There should be theatrical element. A singer must become the character. And I was young. If I tell them it's not like, I didn't know music, I would tell them in my own way. So sometimes they would think how rude she is. I'm a senior musician, she's telling me. Age was another factor. My guru was not there to correct. They would never come for Natwanga, finding a Natwangist, a Bharatanatyam Natwangist, to train that Natwangist. And next program, I won't get him, I won't get that singer. Half my life went in training them. And also sometimes, oh, see, I'm a senior musician, she's trying to correct me. Stop. It was really tough. I would hate to dance on recording. But then because of this, I had to go in for recording. But thanks to Janvi, I remember Janvi Jayaprakash and Saroja Natarajan, who had worked with other, they would travel, they had worked with other dancers. They understood my problem. And when I crossed borders of Karnataka for performances, be it Delhi, be it Bombay, they sang for me and I got very rich reviews, which helped me, climb ladders and cross Indian borders. So even your musicians matter, their support. And, you know, uh, getting gurus, getting musicians, half your time goes in training and next time you don't get. What would you do? And also style. My God. But anyway, I think everything made me a strong personality. I understood so much. I understood how much I didn't know. I understood how much more I had to learn. I worked really hard on it and God repaid me. And I must say that I am the only non-Telugu to get the Sangeet Natak Academy, Kendra Sangeet Natak Academy Award, which is one of the most prestigious awards. And I got it, I think, way back when I was quite young. So I would always tell a dancer, have patience. Whatever it is. Even today, my first job is to remember all my gurus when I light a lamp. Because I truly love them. I don't do it for show off. Today I see most of them put up posters, disciple of this guru. Whether it's truly meant or you're doing it because, the name of a guru in India does matter. To get a good program, if you're a shishya of a good guru, you will get programs. Is it done because of that? I truly don't know. But if it's done because you love her, then please do put it.
That's very inspiring. That's very, very inspiring, especially those challenges where one style, the other style was not accepted. I don't know. I personally feel like in Bharatanatyam, we have like different styles like Kalakshetra, Mysore, Tanjavur style, Pandanallur and all. So there is that differentiation. Oh, you are from this Bani. Um, so we have something like that, but I don't think that kind of a separation existed in Kuchipudi, where so it's either, oh, this is not my style, so it's not being accepted, kind of. Is
Is
that?
that? Yeah. See, that's what I told you. When I do a workshop, many people in India, a Telugu person will think, she's a Kannadiga, what does she know? Or Vempati people may think, oh, she does old style. Old items, I do old style. But they don't know I learned the new style as well. So I'm just telling my example. But this is the case in many things. There's no that unit. As I said, when I did Kelu Baba's workshop, be it Durga Charan or any gurus, they all came because they want to take ODC, make it popular. Here, they don't want to make Kuchipudi popular. They always look at, oh, she's an outsider or, very difficult. And you see, I see this, don't get me wrong. I see this in Kerala. The minute you see a Malayali teaching, like in Dubai, people go to a Malayali guru very easily. Malayalis go to Malayali guru, right? But Karnataka, it's not like that. A Kannada girl will go to a Tamilian person also to learn Bharatanatyam, as long as the guru is good. I think that should be seen rather than, oh, what does she know? She's from Karnataka, or what does she know? She's from Kerala. This doesn't, that one of the reasons I think Bharatanatyam got popular is also because of that, because they didn't see, like you see, Rama Vaidyanathan, maybe from Kerala, or many gurus, for example, Leela Samson. Take, for example, how many students? They looked for quality. I think that is what you need to. You must have that broad outlook in. If a form has to get popular, you think of the form first. I always tell my students, when you perform, think you're performing Kuchipudi. It's an art form where many gurus have strived to make it popular. Then think of who Shishya you are. Shishya comes, if you're my disciple, you're putting Vyjayanthi Kashi. More than that, Kuchipudi is important.
Yes.
Do justice to the form. Then automatically everything will fall. I think that should come first.
Yes, that also explains what you were talking about, the unity between the artists, right? The art plays a much bigger role than the artist. That's the whole
Definitely,
point. The artist
definitely.
always uh, and also with all these challenges, especially to start a Kuchipudi dance journey after marriage. So after marriage, you have family, you were working at that time, and then decided to pursue in Kuchipudi. So how like, and then you got into acting field. So you're also an actress. So how do you balance? This is something that, will be a great message for somebody like me also, where you balance between family and you have a job, you have dance, and how do you balance at the same time give justice to all these field?
See, I never did justice to my bag in the sense, whenever I was free, I would go to the law, um, meeting hall and practice yoga, practice my dance. If not physically, mentally. When I would drive, I would think of it. I think dancing is just not practicing on your angika. You need to keep meditating upon it. I would meditate upon it. So when I was cooking, also I was, I did more justice to dance. I balanced, of course. This consciousness, you're being an artist, first of all, teaches you to multitask. And when you love something, see, your conscious is so strong. When I still remember that I wanted to be the best mother because I'm an artist, right? My parents would always say, see, I would call my students for performances often and say, studies, if you manage, if you love dance, you will find time to study and you will do justice to both. See, when I love, even if I love something, even if your parents say don't do it, you will do it and you'll manage. This is what I know. If you love something and your conscious level is high, you'll know that I'm a banker. I'm getting money for dance because of this. Let me do justice to it. I'll give my 100% when I'm there. Next is, I would finish whatever others finished in 6 hours in a bank. I would finish in 3 hours and use that 3 hours for my mental thoughts, ideas, whatever. When I was teaching, I would give my best. I was conscious that my daughter is away. So when I spent time with her, because of all that bhava that we have, I would give the best to her. I would always tell her, no wasting time on tuitions. Play. You're in dance class, dance well. When I used to call my students, you can manage the exams. All parents used to think, let her daughter come to engineering. She will. But my engineering, Pratiksha got a rank. I think it's a mindset. How you train yourself and how you train your. I tell my students, but you see, Pratiksha did it because the spirit at home was like that. Parents, when I tell my students also, you can manage, but they need that atmosphere. So I could balance everything because my parents told me. They said, if you don't dance today, no games. If you don't dance today, no school. So, I wanted to play, so I would dance. I wanted to go to school, so I would dance. So I think that home setting atmosphere is important. And as you mature, as I told you, dance teaches you to multitask. You learn, how shall I'll get up at 5 o'clock. Don't we get up when we have exams? So many a times I sleep, say 1 o'clock, but I get up at 4 because my flight is there. We all learn it only if you have the passion. So even in acting, see, when I go for acting, it's from 7 to 7. But you're not on the sets for all the time. There's so many times you're sitting free. I mentally practice my item. I choreograph, I videograph and send it to them. Nowadays, I do that because people don't come to class. They want, sometimes I do that. So I think I had that passion that I wanted to do. And of course, I have the age, the energy. I did it. I don't know how long I'll be able to do it. So always great achievers have said that you will find the time if you want to do it and if you love it.
Connecting to that, in this age, right, dominated by all contemporary dance, there are several global dance forms. What challenges do you see for young dancers, the new generation that is coming, right? Especially trying to sustain in the field of Kuchipudi, especially the traditional, any traditional dance forms. But let's stick to Kuchipudi. So, what are those challenges you think that they might be facing, and how or what advice do you have for those artists to stay in this field itself?
See, today days are very different. In my time, my guru made me did yoga, Bharatanatyam guru, for my flexibility. And later, when I was alone, I did aerobics. I gymmed, I used to jog. Because I was a very athletic person and I still am. I love to use my body. So today, what people are learning from contemporary arts, many people are doing, a fitness program. Many dancers are doing that to become very agile. I did it in my own way. I don't know if many dancers did it. And today, that really benefited me because if I could dance for so many years, and Kuchipudi is very energetic. I think though all those things did help. Every physical exercise, contemporary dancers, they work so much on their throat. It does help core strength. As long as you're rooted and you have a great foundation. Like many people tell me Karnas help because it's so flexible. They all know. Many dancers are learning Karnas. Many people are going for contemporary exercises and it does help. It truly does help. But one should have the maturity to know how much to use, when to use, and where to use. As long as it adds to the beauty of your form, use it. But if it is going to dilute the beauty of your form, then what's the point? So, I think most of the great dancers today have, even if you see top dancers in Bharatanatyam today, they have benefited a lot, but they are very rooted in their tradition. In the name of tradition, you cannot do anything you want. You must have that mature. So when you stretch, probably the stretches done in yoga or even in many of the exercises that contemporary dancers, it helps the stretch of any classical dance. So do it as long as you don't dilute your mouth, but it adds to the beauty. Have that maturity. Only then can you, but truly, I appreciate their agility, their jumps, their turns. I always quote this. I read one article long back, and that one quote said that true dancing begins when the body dies. I didn't understand it way back. See, if you're concentrating only on your physical, your heart speaks less. That stretch, that jump, that agility with bhava, aura, only creates us. And if you know how to create that inward bhava, you don't have to jump. I think that's what Bal Saraswati did. And we read so much. I missed watching her. But I've seen many young dancers, many senior dancers who jump. But performances which have bhava is what touches me personally.
Personally, even I feel that is where you can connect, we say, right, to the Paramatma, that divinity, that to feel. I totally agree to you, especially coming from Kerala, where there are like more competitions and things where it is kind of like another style where more jumps and other things added, but you connect to that emotion when you do the like abhinaya items, right? When you connect to that story, when you connect to that lyrics, to the music, it just transforms you into another
World.
world, right?
See,
So,
why? What does Shastra tell us? The purpose of any art is to create rasa. And by body alone, it doesn't. Bodies are important. Okay. I'd seen Kalanidhi Narayanan. She was very fragile. She was very petite. She never did so much Ankika. But just that little turn, that little look, she created so much impact. So even Birju Maharaj, though he did so many chakras, the nasha in his eyes and the power in his eyes, one can never forget. Right? So initially, when you're Rangi, even when my gurus taught me Abhinaya items, I used to say, no, I want jumping items, I want fast items. That again relates to age and should journey through that phase. Not because I can't jump, but I've realized in my dancing that, you all items, that's why if you see how a Bharatanatyam Margam is, Alaripu is warm-up, Tilana is joy, okay? And your Padam Javli comes in the second half. Your body needs to warm up. It's not only transition in a program, but it's transition of age. To do a Padam, to do an Ashtapadi, to do a Javli, okay, little young. But to do something of such deep thoughts, you should have some maturity. You must have life's experiences. You must have involvement. That maturity to understand the lyrics written in those days, where dancing of Sahitya written in 13th century, 15th century. What was the lifestyle then? How deep were persons? See, when you see the old movies, they never touched each other. They just looked in the eyes and did this. Even in the movies, which is such a glamorous media. But we all felt romantic inside. Even today, when I listen to old songs, I feel that, right? Why don't I feel when I see young dancers jump so high? Sometimes I think, is there something wrong that I don't get thrilled? I don't know, come back like this. I think it's somehow. Why do we all have hearts? Okay. That's the difference between exercise and yoga as well. Yoga, you're journeying inside. That's why it makes a difference. That's my opinion.
That's truly touching. I really like the comparison you made. And at the same time, coming back to the emerging dancers or the young dancers coming, I always often hear this challenges is the financial support and like the sponsorships for organizing a program. What are your thoughts on that? Like coming these days, it's very hard to get paid for performers, especially like the upcoming dancers and all, right? So it is getting challenging to keep because dancers, of course, we have to support the live music and all that expenses are also there. So what are your thoughts on that financial support? What change can be made to like solve this issue or like make it better?
This problem existed always and it will exist lifelong because, see, spirituality is attached with dance. Siddhendra Yogi, history tells us that he taught the Kuchipudi families, 16, 17 families, saying that you dedicate one child and never take money. But can that happen? That can't. Why did I work in a bank? I had to spend, what was the amount we were getting? What is the amount we had to pay musicians? How many years we had to wait to get another program? At least I was working in a bank, which paid me very less then, way back then. But today, thanks to multinational companies, many youngsters, that's why they work. They get well paid. They use it for dance. If you have the passion, you use it for dance. Dance has always, not only for your teacher, for your music, for your choreography, for your costumes, for your makeup, for a stage, for decoration. And moreover, the concept of ticketing is very, very recent. And even if there is ticketing, most of them call their students, their parents are coming, and maybe 10% outsiders are. Sponsorers, when will they sponsor you? When they know that the huge audience are coming. They want publicity. So if a film star dances, obviously people go and you see big holdings. But a classical dancer can't get this funding, can't get sponsored. And we can't expect the government to support us because way back then there were 5 or 6 names. But today we have every street we have a dancer. Lucky are those who have influence, who know how to approach. They get funding, they get programs, festivals organized by the government. They're very few. But for a dancer, I feel you have to initially have patience, love to invest on your dance. The worst part today, people are paying to dance. This was abroad before that used to dance in temples. You have to pay, register, and dance. But this sadly started. That many people know that there are so many dancers, they're hungry. Maybe they are, I don't know if they're mediocre. See, a well-trained dancer, for me, I'll never dance. I never have ever. If it's for a cause, I will. Charity, building a temple, blood donation, I have danced. Otherwise, I'll never. And I tell my students, don't dance. Because you've invested real good time. You're talented. And you've worked very hard. Then why do you pay? You pay me a decent amount. Okay, I'm not looking for a profit. But at least I need that much respect for them. But today, because of so many dancers wanting opportunities, they're paying and dancing. They're paying and getting awards. They're paying and getting documents. Is this definitely, is it a good trend? And when they're mediocres, you never get success unless you have it. The only way out I see is, even me today, see, when I was young, I would run for sponsors. And I had contacts because I was working in film, I was working in TV. I was a popular stage dance actress. I was known in dance. I was working in the bank in the reception, so I had good contacts. I was young. But today I don't want to ask. It's like begging. I don't want to ask a sponsor. But luckily, my hard work, God has been generous with me, that I consistently, continuously worked, that sometimes I also think, God, dance has given me so much, let me spend. Sometimes the government helps. Of course, it's very partial. As I said, I think like this. Dance has given me so much, and now I can afford it. So instead of spending on something else for a travel, I would use the money too. In fact, I've invited almost all top dancers of India, be it Kuchipudi or any form, name. And today when I'm doing a festival, I have to repeat artists. I've given opportunities. I've invited many youngsters as well. And I feel I'm not doing a great service. I think this is the least that an artist can do. But for the youngsters, they have to multitask. They have to work. And if they love dance so much, initial stages, maybe, for 20 years, you consistently work. Some people recognize you, what you earn from your teaching, you can reinvest in doing festivals. Or 5 people can get together, good friends, do a festival. And in that festival, of course, you dance, your friends dance, and be seen and keep that interest going. But if you really want to be only a classical dancer and make money, I see very rare chance. If you're a film artist, that name helps in this.
Yeah, especially one more thing
This is
to add,
what I feel.
yeah. One more thing to add to that, the performance and all that, right? Now, in the rise of this digital media and the social platform like Instagram, the reels, 1 minute reels, and the the new trends, right? How has this impacted the traditional learning and the performance space in Kuchipudi dances? Especially, I just wanted to also add, there has been a change after the COVID-19 pandemic. There are like online performances too, right? So in general, how do you think this has impacted the traditional learning or the performance in the field of Kuchipudi, or in general in the dance field itself?
See, the pandemic, including me, 6 months we didn't never anything. We didn't do anything because we are thinking it's going to end. But when it started continuing and we never knew when it's going to stop, that's when many artists probably thought of online classes. As I told you, I started courses on demand, on request. I did this 18 days workshop seminar, which probably is the first time in the history, 18 days. Like I said, Mahabharata, 18 days war, let's do this. And we involved all the gurus of Kuchipudi who never spoke till then, were featured in that. And it was a lucky time, all were at home, so they heartily spoke and gave information. And it was almost the last performance of the stalwart Shobha Naidu online. But when people saw seniors like me doing it, every young dancer started doing it. That's when I realized, my God, this is going crazy. And I stopped doing anything online, except the course which we did, continued with people who were serious about it. Then it became a very easy thing because people, see, we did it with great quality, but people started recording on their mobiles. Mediocres. I feel, see, every advantage has a disadvantage. It should have ended then, but slowly now we are coming back to festivals. But still, this made a great impact in many spheres of life, including dance. Learning became very easy, especially for people abroad. They got in, they said, hey, why give a guru so much and invite her when you can learn online? And copy easily. The number of performances many people put up, it became an advantage for many. And the dependence on a guru or the bondage with a guru has changed surely. Because many people are learning online. But learning online also needs a lot of culture. Only if you have had a strong foundation and learning from the same guru for long, if I correct you, you will understand. Otherwise, I don't think it can create a great impact as a performer. And learning with several others. Oh, this one is coming. Oh, learn this one. I think that has changed the very, and made very mediocre, sorry I'm saying, because dancing for 1 minute, those 1 minute dancers are more known than people who spend their life for dance. How many people know senior dancers today? No. Only those who are seriously interested in the history of dance, who have interested of the contributors in dance, will probably look like. These people, one time it was brochures. Many organizers saw beautiful brochures and gave performances. Now many dancers, many organizers see 1 minute popular, how many followers do you have? They become. So I think it's dangerous. Maybe it's creating many people to learn dancing, but how many quality dancers are coming on? As I said, when I do festivals, I'm searching for names. And I go back to the same old names. Not that I don't know young dancers. I keep update myself. But I'm looking for quality of a dancer who touches my heart.
So with that, what advice would you give to these young dancers or artists who look up to you? Like any kind of message that can help them in their career.
Every dancer has to have patience, trust, love, and gratitude. These are the 4 pillars on which your foundation begins. And only if your foundation is strong, like I said, because of my foundation with Bharatanatyam Guru Ramana, I could travel so far. And my Kuchipudi gurus, because I had that bonding, I bonded with them too. No matter what, every dancer has their challenges. Don't think, oh, those times were different. That dancer didn't have challenges or she has influence. That which lives for a longer time, a dancer is worked very hard to reach them. So if you want to reach there, you're going to have challenges. You're going to have your own people who are going to put you down, people who are going to, try to. All these are part of any field. You have opponents, you have people who are trying to discourage you in their own ways. But if you are committed to your art, to your guru is important because I said, you can't, without a name of the guru, I'm a classical dancer, you can't come. There are a few dancers who had gurus who have made a group and tried to come. But then the guru's name, guru's blessings, guru's teachings, guru's inspiration is important in your initial stages. Then you have that gratitude, keep that bonding, take the inspirations and grow. This means it takes almost 20 years, minimum. Like in a career, in a company to reach a position, in spite of your studying for 20 years to get a job, then you take 20 years to reach a position. So is it with dance? You spend only 2 hours in a week. So have the patience and be grateful, thankful to your art, that it not only gives you success and money, it evolves you as a person. If you're tall, any artist has to evolve. If you want to touch hearts, your heart must be. Only then can you touch it. Otherwise, glamorous people, yes, they score very high, probably how long they sustain, I don't. This is what I have believed. I always believe.
That's a wonderful message. Thank you so much, Akka. I think I have few more things. This is going to be like rapid fire questions. So this or this, whichever comes first to your mind. So dance or acting?
Dance.
Abhinaya or Nritya?
Abhinaya.
Tarangams or Tilana?
Tarangam.
Devi items or Krishna?
Krishna.
Solo or group performance?
Solo.
Do you like to perform in India or abroad more?
India. Because I learned from
Thematic dance production or traditional items?
thematic.
Okay, performance on stage or practice at home?
Performance on stage.
One more, Shringaram or Bhakti?
Shringara.
Of course, just watching you dance itself is, we feel that emotion. I've seen several of your performances in person and, so feel so blessed. So when you do Shringaram, you feel it as an audience that you can connect.
I always say, Shringaram in life, real life, is very mediocre compared to Shringaram in Jharamis or in Padams when you get involved. Because you're transforming into a different world, into an imaginative world which does not exist in life.
True, true. I know it. We planned for a short time, and it just keeps hearing all these inspirational stories and your experience. It's really, I didn't want to like stop. I wanted to just keep moving. I know it took this long. Thank you so much, Akka, from bottom of our heart, and on behalf of Nirvikalpa for your time to spend sharing all your experiences as an artist, as a person, as a dancer, especially in the field of Kuchipudi. Thank you so much.
I truly appreciate the work that you're doing because it's not easy to work not having your guru. As I said, I know it by my own journey and keeping the concept of Guru Shishya, which is traditional, using the media to spread the message is, a good thought. Any media, be it writing, visual, or whatever, as long as we are trying to retain the tradition and take it ahead, I think that's wonderful. Congratulations, and hope Nirvikalpa does a great job, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much, Akka. Thank you.